Hi, I'm Ashley, and you are listening and watching Confidence in Coffee. What if I was to tell you that you can find confidence despite any of your circumstances, good or bad? I'm going to help you navigate the waters of womanhood, whatever season that is in. Whether it's marriage, singleness, or you're drowning in children, I'm going to help you find confidence and hope through Christ. I'm going to leave you with plenty of encouragement and practical tips to overcome those limiting beliefs so you can live a life well. Plus, you know we're going to find a few laughs along the way. So grab your favorite cup of coffee and join me as we chat confidence in coffee. Hey, you guys, I am here with my friend Kaitlyn, who is amazing, real life. This conversation I know is going to be from God because anything that could have happened to make it not happen has happened. But here we are. We're going to have an amazing time. And I'm really, really excited because Kaitlyn and I connect. Not only is she from South Carolina, I'm from North Carolina, my After Jesus home. Some of y'all know that. But she's from Greenville, South Carolina. She is an author, and her book is remarkable. It's a memoir of what now after Christ, and she's going to share just her testimony and what God has brought her through. But when she's not writing, she's spending time with her husband and her baby boy, right? Do we have any more kids, Kaitlyn?
I have two, a 3-year-old son and a 5-month-old daughter.
Woo! And look at her. She looks amazing. She looks amazing. And we're gonna talk more about that because I have all the questions, like more kids, how are you doing? Because we talk about life on here in general. But when she's not spending time with her babies and she's not writing, she actually leads a grief class. She's interning for counseling right now. This woman is getting it, okay? And she's very active in her church. She's just a go-getter to do what God has called her to do and to help other people with mental health, especially in the Christian culture where we don't talk about it enough. I'm really excited about this conversation because not only is it overlooked, has it not been talked about, but it's completely necessary. And so she's going to talk to us about womanhood, about her book, and about her faith. Kaitlyn, thank you for coming on to Confidence in Coffee and having babies, 5 months old. That's probably why it's something I don't know, but you look amazing. I'm so glad you're here. Is there anything else you want to add to your life that you're already doing that I haven't said?
Wow, what an introduction. Thank you so much, Ashley, for that introduction and just for having me on your incredible podcast. I'm super excited to have this conversation.
Me too.
Yeah, like you said, I'm a mom of two. I just released my first book April 4th. So it's been a crazy month just with the promotion of that. I've had book signings and just all kinds of things related to my book, which has been really awesome and something that I've been working towards for years. And I am in seminary for counseling. I'm about halfway through. I have 2 more years left. So working my way through that. Yeah, everything that I'm involved in has just been a very, very slow, gradual process. I'm not one to just like it sounds like I'm doing a lot, but it's all has been years
Intentional.
coming. Yeah. So it's a busy but really exciting time.
Yeah, I love that. And that you say that everybody does think that it just kind of happens, especially when you get to a certain status in your life, but you work years to get where you are. And God is a God of order, excellence, and intentionality. And you obviously exceed that. So I really want to get more into your book. And tell me a little bit more about this memoir, about what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's called What Now? Finding Renewed Life in Christ After Loss. And this story is my personal journey of finding hope and healing in the Lord after the loss of 6 of my family members. So I will just give a brief overview about what it's about, and then we can go from there. But I was born into a family of six kids, and my mom homeschooled all of us. We were very tight knit, close family. for the last 3 years of my family life with them, ages like 6 through 8 for me. We lived in Asheville, North Carolina, and it was like a small farm. We had chickens, tons of other pets, a garden, and we were homeschooled. So it was very just like that image that you could picture.
Goals, hashtag goals.
Yeah. In the 90s, so a long time ago. But my parents were amazing believers and really taught me an example of what it looked like to follow the Lord at a young age. And I learned about God from age 6 is the earliest I could kind of remember, like understanding who he was and learning how to read my Bible and just putting my faith in him, like only at what a 6-year-old can do. And 2 years later, my family and I had some girls staying with us from Belarus. They were here for like a relief program to receive medical help, and just get some help before they go back to live. And they had never been to the beach before. So my family decided that we would, well, we had one girl living with us and then she brought a friend as well. So we were going to take them to the beach to see the ocean for the first time. And I'm just going to jump into it. We
I wouldn't want it any other way.
Thank you. So we were on our way to the beach, 10 people in the car, 8 family members of mine, and then the 2 girls staying with us. We were right outside of Columbia, South Carolina, when a cargo van crossed over the grassy median, lost control of his steering, blew out a tire, and just lost control and couldn't stay in his lane. So he crossed over the grassy median and hit our car head on and instantly took the lives of my parents and 4 of my family members and 1 of the girls staying with us. So my brother and I, he was 8 years older than me, myself, and the one other girl that was staying with us from Belarus were the only survivors. I was asleep in the car and woke up days later in the hospital. I was in a coma and then woke up later and found out what happened in the hospital at 8 years old. And so my brother and I went to live with our aunt and uncle from that point on, and they had 2 daughters, my cousins. So we moved states, we moved homes. I started school for the first time, new church, new friends. Everything in my life was completely different from that point on. And really from there, middle school, high school, and college, and then where I am now, it's been 23 years. So it's been a long time, but I'm able to look back now and just speak on, since I am so far removed from it, just speak on just how God was in every detail of my life beforehand, and after. Just he kept me close to him, and he has just been so faithful. And so that's what my book's about. And I know that's a long story just shortened down, but I just have a heart for other people who have experienced loss of any kind or pain or suffering, and just want them to know that there is hope, because in those years following, I really experienced true healing through the Lord. And that's the only person that I could go to have that true hope in life, because without him, there would have been no way that I would still be here, and no way to make it through life without him after something like that. So I just really want to share that hope with other people. And in my book, I don't shy away from the hard parts of what it was like to go through that. So it's all laid out there in a very vulnerable way, but it's full of great hope and joy as well.
Oh my, listen,
Story.
first off, I need to tell you that I can't imagine what you have been through. I don't think a lot of people can. That is a great loss. And I just want you to know that I'm sorry for that. And I, I am so grateful that you're here. And God obviously has a purpose on your life to go through something like that and to still be here and to still have faith in Him. I mean, let's be real. To have that much loss with such a beautiful family. I mean, how old were you again when that happened? Because that was 23 years ago.
Thank you so much for saying that. Yeah, I was 8. I'm
Ugh,
31 now.
baby girl, I'm so like I have babies. You have babies. I just can't begin to imagine just leaving them to deal with something when they haven't even processed their own emotions. And so thank you for
Yeah.
being so open with us and writing about that. I can't imagine that that was easy to live through. And I know that in your book you help readers, like you think about the reader that could be going through something similar and asking questions. Is it okay to ask questions? How do we trust
Yeah.
God in such a time of sorrow? How do we, you talk about grief and you really validate people in your book about pain and struggling and wrestling with that, wrestling with hope and being courageous and being vulnerable, especially as a person of faith. And I know that you've briefly touched on mental health being like a passion of yours, and that's why you're doing internships and you're doing counseling, and it's so needed. And I'm so grateful that you're doing that. Is that something that you want to talk about? Like not only your story of what you walked through, but what really brought that to be your purpose in life. Like how God used this grief not only to make your faith stronger, but what came to the point that you clicked that, well, like, you know what, this is an issue and I want to talk about it. I want to help people be able to sustain their faith in Christ and be patient and be present and to heal in their emotions and in their grief. And to engage with their trauma. I mean, that's what you say, engaging with your trauma. How, what came about that where it's like, okay, this is what I need to do with this?
Yeah, I do have such a passion now to help others, and specifically kids who have experienced like something, a trauma when they're a child. And do you hear my daughter?
A little bit, but it's okay.
I'm gonna go
My,
close the door real quick. Is that okay?
yeah, but don't, if you have to take care of your babies, I get it. It's okay.
Okay. She's fine. I just need to close the door.
Is
Is
she
all.
just happy and laughing and just having a great old time?
Okay. She's just a really loud crier.
Oh, well, aren't they all? I don't know a baby that's not. All my kids were loud. Yeah, no, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Um, I have such a passion just for helping because of what I've been through, and just the healing that I have experienced that I know is possible. So now, I think so many people go through hard things as a child, but they don't have the like the words, the language, or they're not given the opportunity maybe to talk about how they feel. And so as adults, we're like a lot more, we understand more, and there's a lot more resources out there for adults going through grief. And so just, yeah, through what I've been through, it's really just given me a passion to advocate for children who are now adults who like didn't get the chance. Well, children who are going through stuff now as well, but also like people who have been through something as a child and never really got the chance to express how hard it was or everything that they were feeling during that time. Because as kids, and I know this because I was this kid, we just can conceal it so easily and put on a smile and play and just try to like act normal as much as we can if no one's prying or, giving us like uh that opportunity, I guess. So I did a really good job with that. Like I had such great support around me at that time. A family who loved the Lord, a great church, awesome friends. But even in that, I still did a really good job of keeping the pain that I was feeling hidden from all those people who were there and who wanted to help me. So that I really just obviously have a huge passion for kids and helping them like be able to express their feelings. And just the fact that throughout the years, I went to counseling a little bit when I was that age, but then pretty much learned to bottle it up. And that was the only way for me that I thought I could make it and survive, is just to stuff it down. And so I did that for so long, but pain and grief can't be tucked away forever. Like we have to face it eventually. It will show itself, show its ugly head, at some point, even if it's years down the road. And so for me, that was in college. It finally, like, I was just realized there's a lot here that I haven't processed yet, and I need to face it. Like I need to deal with the hard feelings and just all the pain that I've stuffed away for so long. And so I went to counseling myself in college, and then have just learned that it's just going to be a part of my life forever, and that it's good. And not just counseling, but like self-care and just doing the things that we need to do to like focus on ourselves so that we can help others better and like be able to give to the people around us that we need to pour out to and to give to. So all that to say, I didn't know anything about like taking care of my own emotional health at all in college. And now I'm studying to become a counselor. So the past like 10 years have just been a healing journey for me, in going to counseling myself and surrounding myself with amazing mentors, and like actually being the one to seek out those things, like seek out a church community, seek out these mentors, seek out counseling, make sure that I'm attending my yearly physicals at the doctor, and like getting the help that I need there, eating well, water, like it's just all these things that come together that I'm just like, this is important and this is not selfish, and I need this so that I can help others. So I'm really excited now, just the journey that God's led me on. And in that too is my just dependence on him. I think like a lot of how we live kind of can mirror what our relationship is with God. Like our relationship with ourselves and our relationship with others mirrors what our relationship is like with God. And so if I'm like doing the work to take care of myself and just like protect the things that God has given me and the purpose that he's given me, then I'm also learning to spend time with him and fill up with him as well. And that is a huge part of like self-care as well. The biggest part, really. The most important for sure. But yeah, just have learned a lot about what all those pieces look like and coming together for a really like holistic view of self-care and the things that we all need to do to address our hard past and move forward in an abundant life, not just like get by, but run towards what God has called us to do full out. And so that has been really exciting, and just the journey that he's taken me on.
Yeah, you said something really profound in regard of our relationship with Christ as a reflection is kind of like reflecting our relationship with ourselves, and how you compared about spending time with God, and nourishing our relationship by reading the word and in prayer, and really being in his presence and resting and taking that time to just be with him. And he doesn't need that. He just wants that. And that's really what transforms us, to know that he wants to spend time with us. It's like being married. There's something really special about your spouse wanting to spend time with you rather than not wanting to spend time with you. You can feel a different kind of way. And I just love how God examples that to us, especially how much do we care about ourselves enough to want to care for ourselves, to care for our temples and our minds. I think that's really, really profound. And I think that's really going to stick with a lot of people. And something else that you pointed out that really spoke was about, you said, I'm just going to have to learn to live with this. And I'm curious what your grieving journey looked like, because again, I'm not comparing my life to yours in any way. I've never experienced loss in that way. So please, like, there's no comparison. I know for trauma aspect, I have to deal with triggers, and I'm the type of, I'm a confidence coach. I was trained in neurosystems and understanding your emotions and your feelings and triggers, insecurities and fears, and how to relate that confidence back into Christ, and how do we align that with our faith. And something that I've learned is not necessarily coming out of the ring, or that the devil's going to stop attacking you, or these things stop, but how to really fight it daily, how to always go back to truth. And something that was freeing to me was, once I went through my healing journey of trauma, was really the accepting of trauma, was really the accepting of that I have PTSD. And I was an adult, you were in college. I think that there's a stigma for children where it's like, oh, well, they bounce back. Children are tough, or they don't understand. They just don't, it doesn't connect. And I think that if we don't cradle that, right? If we don't cradle that loss at such a young age, that it does catch up with them, and it does show their ugly face because of the stigma that, well, they're not going to remember. How can you not remember something like that? Babies remember traumas. Your brain is actively went through a process of pain that it wasn't supposed to be through. And so to go through something at that such a young age, and then to realize that in college, I guess my question to you is, when you say you had to learn to live with that, was that like acceptance is what you mean? Like, what do you mean by that? Could you kind of dive deeper into that for me?
Like when I said I had to learn to live with that as an adult,
Yeah.
or when I was, okay.
When you were in college and it was like, whoa, I'm realizing that there's things that I still need to heal from.
Right. Yes, I think it was acceptance. I think I realized that I had to face it first. Like you said, like for so long, I would just, by stuffing it down, I was just kind of telling myself that if I didn't talk about it, if I didn't share or admit that there was real grief there for, that was a reality in my life, if I ignored it, then time would heal everything. And I just had to get to a certain number of years down the road, a certain point in my life, and be like, okay, like I'm better now. But it was still there, like it wasn't going anywhere. And I didn't
Oh,
know that. And so, people say that expression, time heals all wounds
come
and
on.
things.
That's good. That's really profound.
Yeah. And I've heard all kinds of like, cliche statements, but that one I know is not true, because with like time helps maybe the pain lessen a little bit, but it definitely doesn't take it away. And so I guess it was, in college during that season, I realized like I can't live forever. I can't continue to live really without going there, without accepting it, admitting it and accepting it. Cause
Mhm.
it kind of came to this like head, I guess, where it was like, I either have to go through the really, really, really hard journey of talking about it and receiving more counseling and being real and addressing it, or I was having some really scary thoughts at that time of like, there's no way I can continue on with this. And so, yeah, I mean, it's hard thinking back to that time in my life, but in God's grace, it's just, I'm so thankful for his faithfulness and just that he literally like picked me up out of that spot and helped me go there, helped me address it, and just provided me with so many things around me that like are earthly things, but they're things that God has given us to use, like tools, Um, and so I did have to accept it and think about, like, I had to go there in my mind, like the really hard places, and kind of almost relive a lot of it, but not stay there. And think about it, address it, but then like the title of my book is What Now? Because out of that healing journey, I stopped asking why, because why was causing me to stay stuck in this horrible place. But I turned that question into what now? Like, if I'm going to live, if I'm going to continue to live, how is God going to use this? What is my life going to look like now? So, like, this happened, but what now? And that's kind of just the question that God gave me of like the ability to move forward. And I also thought about one thing while you were saying, just about like the self-care and spending time with Jesus. I think those tools that he gives us in life to heal and to like feel good as a person and feel better and be strong and confident. I used to think that those things were selfish, that like taking medication or
Wow.
spending time in the word, like these basic things were like selfish, like I shouldn't be focusing on myself in that way. And so I was just in this horrible place of believing that, but God just gradually started to like shift my perspective in that these things he gave us and they're good, and like spending time in his word is an actual, like, it sounds so simple, but it's like a good and healthy thing that we can do with our time. And so just like those basic things that God just really had to break me of these like unhealthy beliefs that I had. And exercising, and like I said, like going to my doctor's appointments and getting medication and paying for counseling and like these things that, and I think a lot of people, might hear that and like be able to relate. Like, it's easy for us to feel guilty over, especially as moms, like over spending time doing these things, and giving our attention and energy to ourselves in that way. But that is completely just the devil telling us that that's selfish, because what I've learned is just like those tools, that they're there for us, given by God, and out of those things we can just become better individuals who can care for and love the people around us better.
That's really good. There's so much I want to touch on, so I'm like filtering my questions because we have 5 minutes. But I'm curious what made you feel so selfish. It's like, I wonder if that's why maybe for you or others, they don't really focus on their own feelings or their own healing journey because someone told them that it's not important. Someone in their life was like, your feelings don't matter. Even if they didn't say those words, someone in your life made you feel like you don't matter and everything that you desire isn't important, and you need to suck it in and block it in and shush your mouth. And you're not really choosing yourself. I love how you tie that into the selfish aspect, the enemy, those lies, someone telling you that, then it rooting itself, but also in the regard of like when we do that selfish act of, well, my feelings don't matter. The Lord's bringing it out like, but you do matter. Let me show you how much you matter. Spend time with me. I want to spend time with you. And that
Yeah,
is
it's so good.
transformation of like, wow, I do matter. I am loved. You want to be with me. You want to show me the truth. You want me. My feelings do matter. The things that I'm not okay with do matter. And that's what's so good about spending in God's word is he reveals to us how much he loves us. It's not like this, we have to do this, we have to heal, we have to just get over it, we have to suck it up. It even doesn't have to be like,
Mm,
oh my gosh, like you're selfish, you don't matter. But it also could be like, this isn't how you're supposed to feel as a Christian. Shush your mouth, hush it up. Like you need to be strong all the time. And if we
mm,
continue to believe those lies, we're eventually going to fall apart. We're going
mm.
to fall apart.
Yes.
And God can be like, you know what? I don't want you to get to that point, but I'm willing to help you pick up all those pieces. I'm here.
Mhm.
I don't believe that God puts too much healing on us that we put on ourselves, if that makes any sense. I think that we look at social media and we see
Yeah.
the Christian girl aesthetic, and I make it about the Christian. It can be overall anybody, but the Christian girl aesthetic where it's like, do this, do that, do this, do that. Don't do this. Don't drink coffee. Exercise every day. But the Lord's not going to give you more than you can handle. And would you say that with your healing journey? Like, it was a journey. You said yourself, it was years of a journey. Like, he's like, okay, now let's work on this. Now let's work on this. Now you're not ready to work on that. Like,
Yes.
why don't we give ourselves permission to, like, that's okay that you can't do that right now. That doesn't take away from who you are.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, I love how you put that. Um, yeah, and that's the whole beauty of life, like getting to be on this journey with God forever. Like when I talk about healing and doing these things, it's not just that I have arrived and I spent 10 years healing journey, did everything I need to do, and I'm good. Like I'm healed. It's not that at all. Like I hope listeners hear that I'm looking forward to life now and to living an abundant life because of knowing that, yes, more hard things will happen. And every day, like I'm weak and I, there's just small daily things that happen, for all of us. But that is the joy and the beauty of life is like continually going back to God for just our need of him. And um it's sad to think about if I didn't like the big part of healing was admitting that I did have a daily need for Christ and going to him in prayer and going to his word and just seeking him in everything. And so it's sad to think that if I continued down a path without that healing, um, I would be basically saying I don't have a need for God because I wouldn't be um, admitting that need or like being vulnerable to him about issues that I had and I needed his help with. So, you know, um, as hard as it is to feel those hard feelings and to admit that we have that human just weakness inside us forever and that we constantly will need him and the body of believers that he's given us, as hard as it is to admit that we have that need, there's so much just joy and beauty that we experience when we do
Yeah.
go to him in that way. And so that's like just it's the whole our whole life until the end is that journey, I think.
Yeah. Uh, Listen, girl, Kaitlyn, we could talk all day. And let me tell you something. All my guests, I love to give them some type of outside perspective, encouragement, whatever you want to look at. Because we're the hardest on ourselves. But your story is a story of authority that when you speak, we listen. Because you walked through some things that a lot of us cannot even begin to imagine. And if people try to imagine, come tell me your big sister, okay? Because no, they cannot. All right. But
Gosh, thank you so
the
much, Ashley.
yeah, the fact that you're serving God after going through that, wow. I'm not sure a lot of us could say we would. If we're real, like to go through something like that at such a young age, like, and to be like, I'm going to serve God. I'm going to still show people how good God is. I'm going to still show up for myself and show up for my babies and still be like, I am loved, because that can make you question anything. Like, the why. You said it'll just keep you stuck. That in itself is amazing. But if you could give our listeners one thing right now to take away from any of this conversation, besides go get her book off Amazon, okay, go get it. Okay. What would it be?
I'd say just take the next small step in front of you, because, when I talk about this journey and following God and the path that he's led me down, it really is just the culmination of tiny baby steps. Some days it's just getting out of bed, choosing to get out of bed, in a season of depression. Some days it's like making sure I attend the counseling appointment. So, and now, a lot of times it's just taking care of my kids in the season of life that I'm in now. So just do whatever it is for you in your life, what hard season you're in, just do the next small step that is of God and that is right. And then one small step after the next, he'll lead you into a beautiful walk with him. So I'm excited for everyone who's listening and the journey that they're on.
Well, listen, I know people are going to want to connect with you. So where can everyone find you, Kaitlyn? And where can they find your book besides Amazon? It's on Amazon.
It is. Yeah. My book's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, pretty much anywhere you find books, and it will be on Audible. I'm working on the audiobook currently.
Yay! Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you. I blog at abeautifulbelonging.com, and I'm on Instagram, my name, Kaitlyn_Fiedler, and I have a Facebook page, A Beautiful Belonging, as well. So those are all the places.
Kaitlyn, I hope to have you back on here because, like I said, when you speak, we all want to listen. You have such a gift in that regard, like an authoritative gift where it's like, how did you do it? Like, what do we do next? And then giving us permission to take baby steps. Thank you for that. I receive that encouragement as we speak. I'm actually going to a doctor after here because I've struggled with some anxiety really bad. It's risen itself up. I've with social anxiety, but now it's gotten worse. And I'm going to see a doctor, and I'm very honest about that. And so I think it's negligent as Christians that we aren't honest about struggles, because what are we showing people? Like we're selling Jesus. We're not trying to sell you Jesus. We're trying to show you that you're not alone. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for coming on Confidence and Coffee. I want to ask you one random question because I'm sure there's a lot of criers. I've been trying to keep my tears to the fact that I'm just like, whoa, I'm still processing what you just told me in your story. I really am. That really means a lot that you shared that with us. Thank you so much. But random question. I like to do 21 questions, but I'll do 5. Okay. Okay. Answer them really fast. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. Kaitlyn, favorite color?
Purple.
Favorite food?
Tacos or salad?
2 different things. Okay. Taco salad. Add it together.
Okay. Taco salad.
Okay. If you could go anywhere on vacation, where would it be?
Oh my gosh, Hawaii. I've been there twice and I can't wait to go back a third time.
Yay.
It's just unbelievable.
Okay. Now if you had the choice to jump off a cliff or jump out of an airplane, which would it be?
Jump out of an airplane. It's on my bucket list.
And if you could ask Jesus one question, sit down and have a cup of coffee and have one question, ask him, what would it be? Or tell him. It doesn't have to be a question, but it can be just, hey, thanks. I don't know.
Definitely would want to give him a hug. And I don't know. I really want to know what heaven is like.
Well, we will, won't we?
So I'd probably ask him about that.
Our brains can't even understand that concept. All right. Kaitlyn, thank you so much for coming on. I hope to have you back on Confidence and Coffee. And I continue to I'm going to watch you as God continues to favor you and your journey and what you're doing here. And if there's any way that I can help or my community can help with what God wants to do through you, please feel free to reach out. Okay?
Gosh, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for having me, Ashley.
Absolutely.
You're so thankful for how God is using your platform.
Oh, thank you. I'm honored to have people like you on it. So you know. Bye.
Thanks.
Did you enjoy that? I'd love to see you over at ashleyhenryout.com, where you can subscribe to this podcast and channel on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you listen. And while you're at it, I'd love to see the value that you found in Confidence and Coffee. So drop the ratings, the reviews, in the comments. Plus subscribe to this channel and tell a friend too. I'd love to see you over on TikTok or Instagram, where I keep it real in the reels, okay? Make sure you tune in next time on Confidence and Coffee.